Hello, this is Mike Lanier from CarShowNationals.com. Let's roll with my co-host Jeff Thisted from the Hot Rod Power Tour.
Hey guys,
and we are with Doug and Marissa, and they have a special car that was on TV not too long ago, so we thought we'd bring them on, and we'll also talk a little bit about what they do and everything else.
Come on, Mike. It wasn't just on TV. It's on, Overhaulin. That's like the show, Overhaulin, with Chip Foose,
It is the
right?
show.
Chris Jacobs.
It's the show.
The A-Team. Let's be honest. Overhaulin, not everybody gets on Overhaulin. How did Doug and Marissa, correct?
Marissa.
Yes.
Doug and Marissa, it's a pleasure to meet you. How did you guys get on Overhaulin? Who do you know? How did this happen?
He just submitted it.
Everybody asks that. I don't know anybody. I really don't know anybody. So when I heard Overhaulin was coming back, it's the same time that I built a GT40 for myself for SEMA in 2018. It was in Magnaflow's booth. It was a huge hit. That was great. But as part of building the GT40, I had my Daytona that at the time was like 13 years old. And part of the deal with this lovely lady with me getting my GT40 is she got the Daytona.
I said, you want a GT40? I get the Daytona.
That's a good deal. That's a good deal.
I drive my cars. So the Daytona had really been beat up on the track over all those years. It had over 60,000 miles, probably 2,000 track miles, no paint left on the nose at all. And the engine was pretty worn out. And I really wanted to make it nice for her. And there's just so much I could do. And so when I heard Overhaul was coming back, I was like, there's no way they'll ever pick this car up. But I submitted it, and literally 2 days later, Bub Rutzman, the executive producer, calls me. And, you know, I did know that Chip Foose, one of his heroes is Pete Brock, who designed the Daytona Coupe. And I was told when they were in their production meeting selecting cars, my application came up on the screen. Chip saw the picture of the car, didn't even read it, and said, we're doing that. And evidently,
Nice.
Drive to do a Daytona Coupe. He's really wanted to do a Daytona. And so Chip saw this as like his dream. So he just went nuts on the car.
And that's what was so cool for me because, yes, this is amazing. It's awesome. I'm so entirely grateful. Absolutely. But seeing this dream come true for Chip, it was like dreams within dreams, you know, because he had so much respect for Pete. And he named his son Brock after Pete Brock. So seeing the two of them together and being able to kind of, you know, have them meet through this experience was awesome. And that was probably a bigger gift to me than the car itself, to be quite honest.
That was cool. Because we asked, Pete's become a really good friend of ours over the past 15 years. Pete and I are pretty close. And so I asked Pete if he'd come out for the reveal, and he did. So that was a special part. And, you know, the show loved it too, because they actually revealed the car to Peter before they revealed it to us.
Oh, wow. Because, Pete, he's one of the most humblest rock stars I've ever met. I was I got a buddy of mine and myself in the Bruce Myers garage up in Beverly Hills, and we're hanging out, and he keeps on saying, Peter this, Peter that, and finally I look at the C6R, the Le Mans race car there, and on the book, the back of the book, that's the guy. That's the designer of the Cope. Pardon me, Mr. You've been calling me Peter for 3 hours now, Jeff. It's not Mr. Brock. Call me Peter. Oh, okay, can I get a picture next to Cobra number 1? It would be an honor. And it's like, what do you mean it's an honor for you? Dude, you did, God, it's the coolest dude ever. Amazing.
Right? Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, so he came out. He wanted to see this, and it was such a beautiful, sweet moment, you know, for Chip to have this, you know, like this blessing basically from Pete. And Pete loved it. He loved what Chip did. He said if there was anybody that could have taken it and, you know, made it even more spectacular, Chip's the man for the thing. So it was awesome.
So I haven't seen the episode, unfortunately. I know Mike has. Was it a surprise for you? Did they yank the car? Did they hoodwink you?
Guys.
Okay, good. They did. Okay, good. Okay, good.
They pranked me so hard. So the backstory and what's not shown on the episode is that the GT40 was built, right? And that was revealed in 2018 at SEMA. We had it and we drove it home on PCH right through Corona Del Mar. It was, November, December?
December 8th.
Yeah, you know the date.
Yeah.
Of 2018, we get lit up, right? Lit up by the cops. And they pull us over. We're on dealer plates. The thing was in the middle of being registered. Well, the cop didn't understand the SB 100 laws.
Specially constructed vehicle laws for California.
So they were on a mission to take anything that was super loud off of the street. So they literally had us on the side for 2 hours. They wanted to impound the car, blah, blah, blah. So we had been in litigation with the city of Newport Beach over this whole situation with the loud exhaust on his GT40. Just got through that, right? And of course, everything's fine in May. And then they prank me in July, okay? In July, saying that all my neighbors had a petition that this car the Daytona was too loud on the street. So I thought somebody in the city of Newport Beach was after us. So I'm losing it. I'm losing it on the show going, you're not impounding my car. What is happening? You know, like loud exhaust. I'm calling him up going, get the lawyers on the phone, you know, call Barry Fire, you know, he's our neighbor. I did. They bleeped that part up. I was like, neighbors are side. I said, no, get Barry McGuire on the phone.
She had a nice moment. Help me, lawyer. Pissed. Help me, Barry McGuire.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I had no idea. I was barefoot, had no makeup on. I mean, literally, they were lucky I had.
You weren't running around in your underwear yelling.
No, they were lucky I had my my undertop on. It was a Monday morning. It would have been
a better episode.
Yeah, it was a Monday morning. And then all of this, so yeah, I was pretty fired up.
And I had been pre-pranking her starting the day before, so by the time we got to actually do the prank, she was so wound up. It was hilarious.
What did you do? How did you? What buttons were you pushing?
Oh gosh. Well, I know she's super busy at home. She's a health and wellness consultant, so she works out of the house. So I started like the Thursday before. I said, hey, your uncle called, and he's having some work done on the garage, and he needs the Daytona out of the garage. So she said, well, you just take it to work. Because anytime the Daytona is not in the garage, we don't leave it on the street. I just bring it to work and have it here at the shop where it's safe. So, all weekend long, she's like, remember, you have to take the Daytona on Monday. And I was like, yeah. And I was thinking in my head, I got to come up with a reason to leave this car on the street. I don't know what I'm going to do there. But the day before, I told her, hey, did you see the cops out front poking around on our other car? They were writing stuff down. And she's like, no, I didn't see it. I'm like, yeah, Newport Beach PD was out there.
So he's planting a Newport Beach is after me, right? So that was drip number one.
So that morning, she's like, you got to take the Daytona to work. I'm like, yeah. So I throw all my stuff in the car. I drive around the block. Now, the week before, she had put about probably 600 miles on this car going to different things. And so I pull the car right back around to the front of the house, right where it needs to be. And she comes out. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, there's no oil pressure. I'm like, were you looking at the gauges when you were driving last week?
And I'm like, of course I was looking at the gauges. And he's like, I think you blew the engine. I'm like, what? And I go, how much does that cost? He goes, $25,000. I'm like, what? Wait, what's happening? So this is Monday morning, right? So it's crazy. Yeah.
So I even I put the car in neutral and even push it to the exact right spot that it needs to be in for filming because I didn't want to start the engine. I'm like, it's going to blow up. I'm like, I'll go grab one of the guys. We'll bring a truck and trailer and we'll come get the car later today. And then I went to work for a couple hours and then I met Chris and Bud and the rest of the crew to do the prank at about noon that day.
And I'm stressing out because the car's on the street at this point. So I'm like, pacing, making sure because our street is very, very narrow. And I was scared somebody's going to swipe it, So I was pretty wound up.
Yeah.
I was pretty wound up.
And then I even called her before Chris Jacobs and I parked around the corner. And I called her because they needed me to distract her to get her to the back of the house so they could set up. So I had her looking for the keys for the Daytona, which were in my pocket. And so I had her looking all over the house. And finally, I really condescending. I'm like, she's getting really frustrated with me. And I said, it sounds like you're really busy. And she's like, hell yes, I'm busy. And she hangs up on me. And I'm like, love you, honey.
Chris Jacobs is dying. I mean, you see it in the clip. He's just going, oh my God, dude.
He said every married man in America can identify with that phone call right now.
We don't fight typically. I mean,
you're Italian. We fight.
Well, a little bit, but I mean, I was just pissed. Yeah, I was definitely wound up.
You can tell on the show you were. That came off. You can tell you're mad.
And they were bleeping. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to seeing the show. I know it's a Daytona tribute, but it's a Superformance.
Yeah, it's built by Superformance. All the Daytonas now are Shelby CSX 9000 continuations, but It's the modern chassis design and modern body from Peter Brock that's like 3% bigger overall than the original 289 base Daytona. But super comfortable car. I mean, we take the car on long trips. It's got a lot of room for luggage in the back. It's got air conditioning. It's a great driving car.
When we got married, we took it. We stuffed the whole car. I had my wedding dress, everything. And we drove from Newport up to Paso Robles. It was about a 5-hour drive.
Well, 3 the way you drive, 5 the way I drive.
Thank you. I was just going to say that.
Yeah, I knocked out.
Let's be honest. You left at noon and you got there at 9 a.m. Time goes backwards.
It's not a DeLorean.
Well, especially up the coast in that thing. I mean, that's got the exhaust booming. Now, does the exhaust ever get to you? Because it's got the side pipes, right?
Yeah.
To me, the most lovely sound in the world. I fall asleep to the sound of the exhaust in the car. Like when we take our road trips, I knock out.
When we first started dating and we first started doing trips in the car, I thought I had like a serious exhaust leak because she literally would get in the car and 30 minutes later would be passed out asleep.
It's a comforting feeling to me. Yeah, I love it.
But when you get out of the car, do your ears ring?
No.
They don't.
Oh, interesting. No. Okay.
Or for me, when I'm in an open Cobra without a top.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in the coupe, no.
Although now the Overhaul coupe, thanks to Rich Waitis from Magnaflow, this thing it's a beast. It sounds like a big block. I mean, he did like the most unique header setup I've ever seen on a Daytona, and the side pipes he made for it. It's definitely got a one-of-a-kind sound for a Daytona, and it sounds badass.
It's beefy.
Yeah. So it's not a big block. What's in it now?
427 small block. Roush.
427. Roush 427 small block. What's the induction system? It's
a fast EFI throttle body.
Okay, very nice. Single? Is it like the Ingles, the singulars, or the four Webers?
It looks like a carpet.
Okay. Yeah. Very nice.
Like but it's a fast throttle body and then the fast computer.
Okay.
It's nice.
I read off the cards at the Good Guys Autocross, so I'm going to be it's a little test for me, and I apologize if I'm a jerk. On a technical sheet at the Autocross, what do you write down that car as? And I admire you. First of all, let me butter you up. I admire you with all my heart that you drove it until the paint came off the front end from the rock chips. I love that. I love that you drive it. I love that you beat on it. I love that you autocross it. And to preface my question, I got a stack this big, and you got, a few of the Cobra guys. It's a 1965 Shelby 427 Cobra. Well, they didn't make the 427 in 65, and I know it's not a Shelby. And come on, man, be honest with me. Tell me if it's a factory 5, if it's a Superformance. Tell me what it is. And I mean, don't say that. With the exception of there's Bruce Camber, and he has CSX 3170, and they beat on it. And to hear it run, and it's like the side pipes actually have it's a covering because they got the exhaust knocked over a cone, and they got a 2-second penalty, so they lost the championship one year. That's the reason they have the cover on the side pipes. But anyways, I'm curious, what do you put on your tech card?
Actually, I've just done open track with the car. I never autocrossed it. I've only done open track events with it. So I don't know what you would put on there. I did autocross my GT40 last year with NMCA West, and I didn't know what to put down. They filled it out for me. I think it was Sports Compact or something.
Okay. As long as it's not a 65, as long as you don't portray it as a Shelby Cobra.
No.
Or you put CSX 90.
No.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, like when we do tours and stuff, he always puts Superformance.
Yeah, I put Superformance Daytona replica.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a jerk about that sort of stuff. Yeah.
I get that, because that's what it is.
Well, one of the guys in Texas gets really uptight at me for it's not a kit car. It's not it's not a CSX 3 series car. It's not, and don't portray it what it's not. And yeah, he gets so uptight at me, but I got to call him out, man.
Well, if you ask Peter Brock, compared to this, the original, his quote is shitbox. So,
yeah.
The original cars, because I couldn't drive it cross country.
Like Peter Brock said, and like Carol Shelby said, if anybody said they had one of my cars in control, they were a liar. It's a roller skate with a jet engine. You couldn't control the old ones. The new ones, like you said, are wider. They've got better suspension, better frames, better everything. Yeah.
I always tell people, forget Elon Musk. Carroll Shelby invented the self-driving car when he did the 427 Cobra because it goes wherever it wants.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So from Peter Brock created, let's be honest, he created a masterpiece. Can you walk us around or take us through some of the things? Because now I have to see the show. And this is kind of cool for people who have already seen the show. They can tune into this and you can actually show them or walk us through some of the hidden touches that Foose did.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I'll carry the laptop around and hopefully I'll
thank you.
I don't want to give people motion sickness. And then you can tell me how my framing's
your framing's
going.
Good. Okay, so let's start. We'll start at the front. I'm going to walk you through exactly how they do it on the show. So first was the opening. Can you guys see that down here?
Yeah.
So, and it would be fun would be to show them the regular Daytona.
Yeah, there's the standard Daytona.
You see the regular one?
Yep.
Okay.
So it's like just an
Looks like the front is a lot smaller.
Yeah. And so we actually mimicked the shape back of this car into the front. So when you see the back, you'll see the same shape. So that's pretty sweet. So that took a lot of fiberglass work, as you can imagine, to redo that whole front side.
And they actually brought back an original A-Team member to do all the fiberglass work. Andreas Samoji came back specifically to do this car.
Yeah, they had like over 1,800 man hours just in fiberglass bodywork alone.
What? Wait, really?
For real. No joke.
1,800? That's amazing. So did they do the car in a week?
No.
Yeah. We got it back a week ago Saturday, and they took it in July.
Okay, all right.
All right. So he added Jaguar bumper.
E-type?
Yep.
Okay.
And then headlight covers. There's no headlight covers here.
Can you tilt up just a little bit?
Yep.
They're perfect. Thank you.
That's not sure. And then at the top, you can see the biggest difference here is the vents, right? So now split.
That's the old way.
Yeah, one big.
One big one.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no vents up here, so they completely enclosed top. Mm-hmm. There we go. So they closed all that off.
I love the Hawaiian flowers.
Yeah, isn't that cool? So
they
pulled social media, and I guess they found me in a Hawaiian print dress, and Chip was like, well, that's a cool dress. That kind of, shows her personality. I can't see myself in there, but shows her personality, and he wanted to incorporate something as a signature. So that's a fun part of the episode because Doug actually told Chip not to do the flowers on the car. He said she won't like it, and it's actually one of my favorite parts. So it's a big joke on the show.
Wait a second. Doug actually told Chip Foose no?
Yeah,
I did.
What? It's like anything he wants to do. It's like give him his license. Do your thing, man.
Well, the funny thing is, we were filming, and so I'm sitting next to Chip while he's drawing, which is a surreal experience in itself.
Oh my God. I can't imagine. That is.
I'm sitting there in this chair where I've watched person after person after person sit there, and now I'm there, and so I'm just sitting there. And I've got all these cameras on me and all these people standing around. And I'm just watching them draw. And finally, I look up because I know I'm being quiet, and I tell Bud Brussman, I'm like, I'm sorry I'm being so quiet. I'm just like in awe of what I'm seeing here. And Bud's like, oh, that's okay. You sitting there like a dumbass makes for great TV. And so I'm trying to think. So Marissa always asks me what my favorite part of something is. So finally, I'm like, oh, I'll ask Chip his favorite thing he's done on the car so far. So I said, so Chip, what's your favorite change you've made to the car so far? And he looks at me just deadpan. He's like, actually, it's the thing you just said no to. And I was like, you can just carry me off now because I've pissed off Chip Foose. I'm done. Over.
So Chip did it anyway, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So the top, that was a huge change. And again, body work, that took forever. They also changed the scoops here.
Yeah.
They're pulled back. These are much taller, right? They shaved them down.
Yeah, a lot smaller the other ones.
Yeah. And smoothed them out. I mean, it's just so sleek. Where the other ones have like, what do you call those things?
Rivets.
Yeah, the rivets. So that, was really cool. And then the window, I mean, there's so much.
You kept the bullet mirrors, though.
Yeah.
Actually, I had
look
to
at that. That's very 50s. I
on.
like that little slide on there, the little chrome. Yeah.
Yeah, so the original is literally just, it's a vent or a grill.
Oh, wow. Way different.
Now, is it really tough to pop the clamshell on this thing and show off the Roush 427 small block?
No, not at all. Here,
Oh, you are awesome.
other side.
When you compare it to the other car right next to each other, I mean, you can really see the differences that he did. On the show, you're not realizing there's that much of a difference.
Yeah, 427 small block.
Yep, they painted the block pink. You see that?
Oh, get out of here. Oh,
Yeah,
that is sick.
Right?
That's pretty cool. Yeah. That's pretty sick.
And the brake.
Oh, come on.
Isn't that cool?
Nice.
Doug had done some pink touches on the car before he handed it off. He had done like pink spark plugs, and Von Hot Rod had pinstriped the carbon fiber piece on the original one when we handed it off with some pink pinstriping. So they pulled that pink in, which was great.
Very cool. So what kind of horsepower is this little Roush putting out?
So 543 horsepower and 550 torque. 555? 555 torque.
Yep.
Sorry. 555 torque.
Very nice. Now, you guys said that it sounds good. I don't know, does it actually start, or does it just kind of sit there?
Yeah. She's never here today.
Would you mind? The people at home are saying they'd like to hear it.
I don't think they ran it on the show. Did they run it on the show? I don't remember them starting it. I can't remember.
No, it didn't run at the reveal.
Oh, it didn't?
Yeah,
No. It didn't have a radio.
They always play that song, I Am Gasoline.
they play that in the beginning.
Okay. Sorry. Cold start. Hashtag cold start.
Start, yeah.
With Daytonas, there's this little button that you have to push. What's it called, Doug?
The immobilizer.
Immobilizer.
It's a security feature.
Yep. So then that actually will allow you to turn it on. And
Oh, you totally brought me back to Jeremy Clarkson in Top Gear with his GT. This immobilizer.
Yeah. But the crazy part is if you push it too many times, then it pops your door. So it's like, it's a funny deal. All right.
So yeah, it's back on, so you have to push it. Yeah.
Neutral check. Oh!
Wow.
Yeah, that sounds healthy.
Yeah, it sounds
So
really good.
So the headers, are they four into one, then into two?
Yeah, it actually goes 4 into 2, and then an X pipe, and then back into 2.
Wow.
So it's true twin side pipes that come out of an X pipe, and then the O2 sensor. Here, I'll get this side. The O2 sensor. I mean, it's really genius what Rich Wadis did with this. So there you can see.
There's the X pipe. Come on.
Yeah, and
That's
so
nuts.
The O2 sensor for the EFI is on the back side of the X on the other side, so it gets a full sampling. So I mean, the tuning on this thing is nuts.
And it's a super antiseptic. You don't even see the sensor. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you can kind of see the sensor if you.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, and the pink block. An Optima yellow top.
That's a little heat protection there from DEI.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
Okay, working back.
The interior, obviously, completely redone. I'm going to open this
Yeah.
up. Sorry, this is not super graceful.
Well,
Just hit the popper. There you go.
Yeah. All right, so Al's garage did the interior, and then Chip's son actually drew the hibiscus on there by hand, match the figures. And all new
Very
gauges,
cool.
Yep, the French seam. I just love it.
Yep, the door panels. Everything's just really nicely done.
And then for bodywork here on the original Daytona, we can go over the other one, but the window is more of a square. So Chip wanted clean lines, obviously, and real graceful, flow from top to bottom. So they brought the window opening down, and then he added these on. And this little spot right here, he wanted that to flow real clean. The other one, you'll see it's like a big, huge gap. So they did some.
Don't downplay those too much. I have to sell those.
Sorry. He also moved the gas cap back.
Yeah, and Frenched it in.
Yep. And then they widened the rear fender
and the front
fender.
Yep.
How much is it widened?
Oh my gosh, a lot. I mean, you really see that in the episode. I mean, they added a good 5 inches.
Well, you can see that whole kind of hump at the bottom
Yeah.
of the wheel. It's about 2.5 inches.
Okay.
And then
See how inches are different from women to men? She thought that was 5 inches. You said it's 2. I'm telling you.
I'm like, really? We women exaggerate.
Yes.
All right.
Hey, nice rear end.
Right?
Yeah.
The back is my favorite part. I got stuck here when they did the
Tilt up
reveal.
just a little bit, Doug. Thanks.
Tilt up.
Yeah, tilt up.
So that shape I was talking about, see that? That's what they mimicked in the front. They also changed the whole thing on the lights. Like the original had 1, 2, 3, and then 1 over here, right?
2.
Oh, 2 on this side. So they made those even. Chip always has like an orange pop in his car somewhere, like an orange touch. It's just something he does. So the orange is here.
On the turn signal.
Okay. So 88, is that Dale Jarrett or is that Junior?
That's funny. It was Dale Jarrett, but my chassis number when I ordered the car was going to be 86, but I started out a Bobby Allison fan and then migrated to Davey Allison and then migrated to Dale Jarrett. So I asked for my car to be pushed back in the line 2 orders so I could get 88. So it was
stop
Dale.
it.
A good call.
Good call.
That's what we boy. So we kept the number.
So that's car number 88.
Yeah, 88.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, when we got married, everything that we did for the wedding was designed around the car. So I picked the date 8/8 in 2015, which adds to the number 8. We got pronounced man and wife at 8:08 p.m. So 88 is like a big deal for us. And the double infinity. Yeah.
And the car was in the background.
Yep.
You happen to have a single younger sister. Anyway, sorry.
I wish I did.
You like cars that much? I can't find any car girls. I need to find a car girl.
This car is everything to us, like everything, and I love it.
Spoiler.
Oh, the
Now,
spoiler.
are you driving that tomorrow to the quarantine cruise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Fantastic.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll be in my 55 station wagon.
Okay.
Sweet.
I can't wait. I'm so excited to see you. It's gonna be fun. Yeah. So the fender. Camaro.
Yep, Camaro. That's a 68 Camaro bumper he reshaped and then 70 Camaro taillights.
Okay.
And then we did the spoiler.
Yep.
The glass work on the back.
Yeah, the whole shape of the glass on the back.
Opens and closes.
All right. What does my fancy mean?
Oh, okay. So
She's got a story.
Peter and Gail Brock. So they came out for the reveal. They spent the night at our house. We went out to dinner. We started talking about just my childhood and upbringing. Believe it or not, guys, I had a poodle that I had since I was very little.
Every Italian little girl has a black standard poodle.
And her
I
name
think.
was Fancy, and we were talking about their dog, Kit. And Gail has a light bulb moment. She goes, "That's it. That's it. That's the name of the car." And I said, "What's that?" Next thing you know, the next morning she had the license plate picked out for me. She had checked it out. She goes, "My Fancy." I'm like, "Oh my God, it's perfect." So Gail picked the name, and it's so appropriate, and I love it. So
And it's got a great story.
Yeah. I mean, you can say like the Daytona, and then Gail picks the license plate. I mean, come on. it's
That kind of legitimizes it. I mean, that's pretty badass.
right? Right?
Yeah.
Very cool stuff.
It's a beautiful car.
Thank you.
I'm glad you guys are driving it.
And of course, it has the Foose fade.
We're excited to share it with everybody. I mean,
Show me the Foose fade. Let's see. Look at that. Okay, that's paint. It looks like it's just a shadow, but it's not just a shadow. It's the Foose fade.
Yep. And so, of course, it goes from light to dark on the sides, but on the back, he reversed it. So it goes from dark to light.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never would have got that.
Nice.
Just those subtle things. And then you can tell, like, especially in the side vents, you can really see it.
Yeah. He's the master. And
Oh
I've
my
said it
God.
before, I'll say it again. Watching him draw, my favorite part of watching him draw is when he uses the white highlights at the end of his drawing. It's like some with paint and some with the ink. It's nobody uses white. White's the color of the paper. It's just to watch him. I always tell my pop, gotta watch him draw this thing, man. It's
Takes his finger, does that, and all of a sudden,
right.
you're like, oh, yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah, until you're sitting there and you piss him off, and then you're just sitting there thinking I'm the biggest loser that ever existed.
He was even so nice with you about it.
He did. He came
was
over later. He's
so
like, I
classy.
was just joking, right? And I'm like, no, I'm like devastated right now.
He likes to joke around, though. I mean, I spent an hour and a half watching him draw a picture of a car, and I just posted the video again, I think, late last night. My post, I did an hour and a half, or an hour video of him drawing, and just to draw a straight line, I'm just sitting there going, wow. He just does it like it was nothing. And I'm sitting there thinking, I need a ruler and a pencil and try to draw a straight line, and he just does it like nothing. It's just amazing to watch. And I was there with another media guy, and we're both like, goes, this is amazing. I said, yeah, that's why we're both standing here watching him right now.
Totally. Yeah. He's amazing. He's such a gift to this world, you know.
Everybody we met through experience really like
every single person involved was just, I mean, the greatest people. It was the best experience. So grateful.
And another cool thing you'll see, so the guy that originally helped me put the drivetrain in the car, I mean, Peter Brock was involved, but Eric Voss of Voss Performance was involved in helping put the drivetrain in. And so we show up for the filming of the reveal, right, to see the car for the first time. And we're sitting outside away from where the car is and with everybody milling around. And the guys that are working on the car, because they're scrambling, trying to get the car ready for the reveal, and they're running over schedule, of course. And all of a sudden, I see one of the guys run across the parking lot, and it's Eric. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? So it turns out that Bud called Eric to be part of the A-Team because he knew this car so well to help him get it back together. And then he became part of the A-Team. So he's in almost every episode except, I think, the first one they filmed, which was the Ford Lightning pickup.
He's like the best.
Wow.
So now do you hold that over him every time you see him? It's like, yes, you can thank me again for putting you on the A-Team. And
if you knew what those guys get put through, you would not be wanting credit for that.
We didn't know if we should tell him, like, was it a good thing or not. He was very
to an extent, but I mean, I know it's a double-edged sword. It's like, I don't tell anybody this, but I host the Hot Rod Power Tour, and don't tell anyone, but I would do it for free. They're my people. It's like it is. The A-Team would do it for free. No, they wouldn't, but yes, they would. It's like it is. And my question to you, did you cry when you saw it?
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, I was sobbing. The whole thing was so emotional. It felt very surreal. Like when they left with the car, you know, it's like, what just happened? You know, and you're going through such a series of emotions too. I mean, they had me so wound up. And then when I saw Chris, it was just like, okay, I knew, you know, once I saw Chris, oh my God, this is what's happening. So you go through that roller coaster and then it just doesn't feel real because the car's gone for so long. So it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. And then you show up that day and you're like, whoa, you know, and so you get another kind of layer of just taking it all in. And then to finally, what made it real was when we picked it up 2 weeks ago, you know, because it had been almost a year. And once we tangibly had it and I could spend some time, like just sitting in it, looking at it, appreciating it in a different way. And
bonding
it was kind of,
with it.
Yeah, bonding with it. And, you know, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, always knows, you know, the timing, always has your back, right? So we get this car, guys, like we didn't know when they filmed it and they did the reveal, the episode had been off the air, or the season had been off, not the season, the show had been off the air for what, 2-3 years?
I think 5.
Almost 5.
Yeah.
And so when they filmed, they told us it was just going to come back on an app. So it wasn't supposed to
The
come
Motor
back on
Trend
TV.
app.
Yeah.
Right.
So that came out back in November.
Right. And so we get word that it's coming to TV, and it just so happens that it premieres on TV literally 2 days after we picked up the car. So it's like, man, the timing isn't any better, right? So it was just very cool.
She did get to visit with it at SEMA last year.
Yes.
Chip wanted the car at SEMA, and so he had it in the 3M booth outside. So that was cool because we heard the car run, and it didn't have the headers on it yet. It had the stock headers, but with the new side pipes. But we went to a Monday night thing they have at SEMA every year, a vendor appreciation thing. And then
it was like a tease. It was like a tease, right? Because I got to hear it for a hot second, and then but we still didn't have it back.
Yeah, so I walked her over to where the car was going.
They dangle the keys in front of you. They let you hear it and smell it and feel it, and not yet.
Yeah. Right. And share it, with the world, which is great, and however many people are there at SEMA. So
but it almost doesn't seem like it's your car. It's like you're looking at somebody else's car.
So it's finally real. And I have to say something about the two of you. I was so thankful and grateful when you reached out to ask us to do this, because this is truly the first time that we're talking about it in an open forum like this. And to share that moment with the two of you is something that I will personally, and I know I can speak for Doug too, will forever remember. It's part of the journey with this beautiful car. And you guys are great people, so I want to thank you. Yeah, it's really cool to be here.
That was very nice. All Mike's doing, all I care about is the Car Show Nationals podcast ratings, and this is great for ratings. We've got the Car Show Nationals exclusive. So thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Thank
you. Yeah, they're all doing it. Yeah, but it is special.
Yeah, that's very awesome. I was saying to Jeff before we even did this today, I'm like, I don't know if they've done a podcast yet. I'm sure people are going to be reaching out to you guys. I'm like, I wonder if they've even done one. And here we go.
We've had a few people reach out to us since the show through social media. Some's good, some not.
Get all types, man. It's been
everybody
fun.
Thinks they're friends with Chip Foose and can get him to build a car.
Oh, Mike, right? Yeah. Hey, you were on TV. You got to know Chip Foose. Get him to build a car for me. Yeah.
There's a picture of my uncle's 47 Chevy sedan. I bet Chip would love to build this. Could you talk to him for me? Like, yeah, sure. Why not?
Got it.
I'm sure you're getting a lot of that. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I get I get the guys that are like overseas and they want to start their own TV show, and how can they do that in the United States? I'm like, a lot of money, probably.
Yeah.
So, I get that too.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Not the casting director for Overhaulin. I can't get you on Overhaulin. I'm sorry.
I had to ask you if you guys were. I had to ask if you cried during it, because I'm a fan of the show and I watch it, and I know my dad always grins at me, and every girl I've ever dated always make fun of me. You cry during Overhaulin? It's like every time they go the reveal, every time it kills me.
I do.
I do too.
My girlfriend's always like, you cry during everything. I'm like, well, you don't, people put so much into stuff, and that's why it just makes me just break out, man. Because I
cry at Overhaulin, I cry at Rudy, and on ET. Otherwise, I'm okay.
Yeah,
it sounds better. It is. It's because you see and you feel the energy of what these people did, and it's so selfless. It's so selfless, and they're sitting here making, someone else that they don't even know their dream come true. I mean, I was sobbing. I was absolutely sobbing and hugging everybody.
Oh, yeah. AJ leads her in, with her eyes shut. She's leading her in, and AJ's like, okay, I'm going to lead you here. And she's like, okay, I love you.
And she starts jumping around. She's like, I don't even know her. And she's telling me. I'm like, well, I do. It's great. It was great. Yeah, but I definitely cried.
How many miles have you put on the car since you got it?
Gosh, it's just been back and forth to the shop here, and then tomorrow we'll take it on the cruise. So probably, what would you say, about 200 miles? Maybe?
Yeah, probably about 200 miles.
About 200 miles.
Wow.
Yep.
So pretty new. Now after the big overhaul, the Foosification, is this one going to get driven?
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be my daily driver. This car.
Awesome.
Yeah, meant to be shared, not tucked away. I want people in the car. I want to take people out for drives. I want it out, where people can have joy and be inspired, and whatever it is for them that they can see. The car is going to be a vessel, right, for whatever that is for somebody to see it, to help them live their best life. Whatever that is, yeah.
And I'll keep making up reasons why I bring it to the shop so I can drive it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He loves
Because I've got the engine out right now.
Wait, the engine's what?
What? Oh.
You said you got the engine what?
It's out. I had it, RPG Racing Engines up in Fresno just built it for more power. So I want to run in the car and go over 200 miles an hour. So the engine needed new internals to do that. So I can run more boost.
to be fun.
Okay, so it's a small block 427. What type of boost is in this? You talking supercharged? Is it?
No, I'm talking about 40.
Oh, no,
GT40, sorry.
GT40.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast.
So the engine on his GT40 is out, and he's rebuilding that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And is 200-mile car, is that salt flats, or is that like a standing mile?
No, like a standing mile, top speed.
Okay. Like a big red Camaro.
Yep, exactly.
Very
cool. I got a on that car. I love that car.
Oh, who does? If you don't love the big red Camaro, you're a communist. And no offense to any communist, but I mean, that big red Camaro is.
Who cares?
They're
Communists are offended.
Touche.
Come on, Jeff.
I got so emotional. I'm from Colorado. I grew up in Colorado Springs, and I think it was 2 years ago, if not 3 years ago, Pikes Peak, they burned down. And it's like to see the pictures of it just moldering broke my heart. But I know Tony from the Camaro family and the Big Red Camaro Instagram pages, and the post that they have of the thing going up the hill. Oh, listening to that thing eat, it's the sound of America.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I love that.
It really is. I mean, that thing it's a monster.
Hey, man, I feel like it should stand up and salute or something.
Right.
Yeah. Jeff, I was getting that in there, right?
Yeah. So tell us about, you're at Hillbank Motorsports, that's in Irvine, and you've got a couple of cars in there, one or two I see. Not a lot of Chevrolets, but and Superformance.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the company and what they do.
Yeah, he just sits back. Yeah.
Yeah, look at him.
He
He's
got
like,
the Cobra on his shirt. Yeah.
Well, I'm at work. I had to wear my work clothes, you know.
There you go.
Superformance has been around for over 28 years. They started out just building a replica 427 Cobra, and then about 16 years ago, Shelby approached them, and they ended up doing a licensing deal, and then Superformance started producing not only the Cobras, but the Daytona Coupes, and then the GT40 Mark I and Mark II, and then most recently, they worked for 8 years to get a licensing deal done with General Motors to do the 63 Corvette Grand Sport. So that was the Corvette you heard before we started recording. It had a LT4 dry sump in it with a T56.
Nice.
Yeah.
I heard
What's the transmission in the Overhaulin car?
It's a Tremec TKO 600 HD 5-speed.
Oh,
Close
5-speed.
Drive, yeah.
Close ratio 5. Okay,
Nice.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
So back to Superformance. Sorry.
But Superformance builds the only Cobra replicas licensed by Shelby. They do the Mark II, which is the 289 car, the Mark II FIA, which is the 289 FIA race car, the Mark III 427 car, both the SC side pipe car and the Roadster with the undercar exhaust. Then they do the Daytona Coupe, and then they're licensed by Saffer. Saffer bought the rights and tooling for the GT40 back in the 70s. And so the GT40s are built off the original tooling. They're 80% interchangeable with the original car. There's one behind me that's a 100% replica of P1075 that won Le Mans in 68 and 69. That car is 100% nut and bolt duplicate of P1075, but we call it the tool room car. It's a special 50th anniversary edition we came out with last year.
I love the tool room car.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite.
We just came out with the Mark III R, which has some modern things like fender vents and speed stripes and a front splitter, rear diffuser. So it's like a resto-modded modern Cobra. You know, we supplied 29 cars for Ford versus Ferrari Cobras, Daytona Coupes, the GT40s, and it's like opened up a whole new generation of people to the Cobra. So we've got kind of like a modern Cobra for the younger kids out there that want to throw a blown coyote in there, an illuminator, and a 6-speed or a paddle shift or whatever the hell, 6R80 with a paddle shift, the millennials. So the snowflakes that don't melt, we have a car for them.
I love it. See, I love all cars, but I drive Chevys and whatnot, and I don't know how I got into cars. But my dad is not into them. But over Christmas, he wanted to see the movie. So we went to see the movie, and he loved it. So I got to tell him about it. Yeah, he loved Ford versus Ferrari. So, I mean, he's 80, or he was 79 then, but he was a new generation that got introduced to that. And then have you been to the Cobra Museum in Boulder, Colorado?
Not yet.
I haven't, no.
Not yet. Yet is the biggest 3-letter word. You've got to go. Because they've got the GT, before it was a GT40, the white prototype with the Webers out the back. They've got the one that won Le Mans, the beat Ferrari. They've got the 260, Shelby's personal blue car. It is amazing. It's in this little warehouse in Boulder. So if you get a chance to go see it, it will blow your mind.
Absolutely. We'll drive Overhaul Daytona there.
That's what you should do. You'll love it. It'll be a great drive. Over the Continental Divide. Yeah.
Yeah,
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, really. But this is an amazing place to work. I retired. She inspired me 4 years ago to retire from my corporate job. I'm an engineer, and I just told her when I retired, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And she's like, well, you have time to figure it out. And I said, I just want it to be something with cars. And literally, like 2 months later, we're on a cruise with the Cobra Club. We had the pre-overhauled Daytona up in Paso Robles wine country, and we're at a winery. And Lance Stander, the owner of Superformance, who has the vision for all this stuff, said, what are you doing? And I said, nothing, I'm retired. And he's like, why don't you come work for me? And so I was like, we'll talk about it when I get back. And then rest is history.
Wow. Dude, you got the best chick ever. The best car chick ever telling you to retire and work for Superformance. Dude, that's awesome. And you say Pasos Robles, have you ever gotten that car up to, Borodori Garage in Cayucas? It's right off PC.
That's where Doug proposed.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Borodori Garage. It's right on the ocean.
Yeah. What?
Hang on. Yeah. I got a picture somewhere. I know you guys have been there.
There's a restaurant that's not there anymore, but that's where I proposed to her in Cayucas.
In Cayucas? That's nuts.
Yeah, in Cayucas.
We love it.
That's so crazy because it's such a small little beach town. Like people don't know where it goes,
Except for Jeff, he just must have the Zen thing or something. I don't know what it is.
What the heck?
Beach, no.
Now we got to find it because I drove up there, got a picture. I drove all the way up PCH, and then I spent the night at a Walmart parking lot. Went to Laguna Seca the next day, and the head of operations at Laguna Seca liked my car and let me drive it on the track. So, but I remember the board, and I can't find a picture, but I'll have to. When I see, I'll get it, and I'll show it to you tomorrow. Remind me tomorrow at the quarantine cruise. And for anybody, this isn't going to be up by tonight, is it?
I'll have it. Yeah, I'm going to work on it.
What cruise? I don't need that cruise.
Exactly. Text cruise to 21000 if you want the route, and you're in Southern California.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Theoretically, if there were a cruise, which there's not.
If there was, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But there's no cruise.
Don't say anything at all.
So good.
That's funny.
Good. Yeah, Cayucas is a special spot.
One of the things I was going to ask is, are you bringing the car to SEMA this year?
So I would dare to say that the car will be at SEMA this year. Yes.
Probably in the Discovery booth, maybe?
We'll see.
Probably in the outside.
But I would love to have it back at SEMA again.
Sure.
Yeah. I hope it's going to be there because I want to see it in person.
And hear it.
For sure, and hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get to see it tomorrow, Mike.
I know. That's the problem. I'm not in California. That's, I can get the Minnesota crowd.
We'll have to FaceTime you or video chat you through Facebook or something.
Yeah, there you
exactly.
Maybe do an Instagram live or
Oh,
something.
there you go. Something. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Facebook Live or something.
We got you tomorrow, Mike. We got
You'll be
you.
with us.
He's
Can
trying
you
to
guys? Where'd it go?
I
Can
see
you
it.
guys see this?
Turn your phone up or down because I think it's
Oh,
the.
yeah, I see. It's a garage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bordoi Garage.
Yeah.
Where
It's
is
just
It's
north of downtown Cayucas by a quarter mile.
Okay.
I'll show you. Yeah, tomorrow we can look it up. But it is, yeah, the ocean, Bordoi Garage here in the ocean is there. So it's, yeah.
November, October and November, they have a big car show there every year, and I've always wanted to go back for the car show in Cayucas.
My buddy goes there with his Camaro.
Yeah.
That he used to have, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go.
Yeah, we're going to have to, this will be our 5-year wedding anniversary this August. So
We
we're going to
have
have to
to go
make a
up
trip
there.
up to Pasco, back to the winery where we got married. A little shout out to Aaron Hill. And, and
In the Daytona.
yeah.
Very
Actually,
nice.
he just pushed his Mustang. He's got a 65 Mustang. He just pushed it. I just saw it roll by. He's trying to be quiet so he doesn't
So
interrupt
he's a
the
mess
show.
up the box.
Oh, they're
sorry.
so thoughtful.
He's got side exhaust on a 65 Mustang. I see his little spindly legs pushing his Mustang down.
That's like me pushing my Chevelle when I was in high school. I think I pushed it as much as I drove it.
What?
What was your first car, Mike? What was your first car?
Yeah.
Well, I bought a '67 Chevelle. That was my first car in high school.
That was your first car.
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
my parents let me drive theirs for a while, but my first car, I went and bought that.
That's
How about you?
badass.
First car, Jack?
Yeah, 71 VW Super Beetle.
Oh my gosh.
73 yellow Super Beetle. That was my first.
Yeah,
There you go.
I grew up in Colorado. It was fantastic in the snow, but it certainly wasn't a hot rod.
And I'm on Mike's side. I had an A-body. I had a 71 Skylark GS.
Ooh,
See?
the Skylark, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was my
You guys both
grandmother's.
had hot rods. You guys know my friend, Tim Strange?
And I inherited the car.
Oh, yeah, right? Do you guys know Tim Strange? He was, anyway, he's a Hot Rod Hall of Famer and one of my co-announcers for the Good Guys.
Yeah.
Tim, yeah, his first car, he went to I think the state fair, and he had a state fair winning pig, and he sold his pig, and he got a 57 Chevy. It's like, your first car is a 57 Chevy? It's like, yeah, Jeff, what was yours? It's like, I'm not telling you, I hate you, I hate you.
I hate you right
Oh, yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Well, if my parents would have let me, I would have had a '55 Chevy with a 454 in it, but I didn't get that.
You probably wouldn't be here right now.
My dad had a guy come by. He was a boat dealer. He had a guy come by the shop when I was working for him, and my mom worked right across the parking lot at the shipyard, and a guy brought over a purple AMC Javelin, and that thing had glass packs on it, and, I mean, it was gorgeous. It was just badass. And as soon as my mom saw that out the window, she came over and put the kibosh on that. She's like, "You're not getting in that."
Oh,
He
yeah.
probably
That was
purple.
like me.
A purple Javelin.
Yeah.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, that's a badass car.
That's great.
So where can so the folks at home, if any of the folks at home are Ford guys and want the G, and it's GTFOURTY, not GT40, GT40s and the Daytonas, the Cobras, they can find you in Irvine. Whereabouts?
Irvine, we're right off Bate Parkway in the 405. In Irvine, we're at Watney, WHATNEY, 1 Watney in Irvine, California. And if you want to see like all the beautiful stuff here, you can go to hillbankusa.com, HILLBANK USA.com. And then for her, you can go to superluxurylifestyle.life on Instagram, Super Luxury Lifestyle.
Well, thanks for the plug. Look at you.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't care about you. Where can we find her?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Well,
I get that all the time.
I do have to go on a SEMA diet, so just saying, I need that.
I got you. Whenever you're ready.
So, luxury lifestyle living. And what about you on Instagram?
Pardon me?
Your luxury lifestyle living, and where are you on Instagram?
She's Super Luxury Lifestyle. I'm
Super luxury
Daytona.
lifestyle.
Yeah, super luxury lifestyle. I'm Daytona 88 DC.
Daytona 88.
DC.
DC.
Oh, DC. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Look them up. Get some followers.
Yeah.
You guys are the
What else, Mike?
Yep.
Um.
And we're doing a YouTube channel too. We're doing supercars and superfoods on YouTube.
Oh. Okay. Cool.
Combining the health and wellness of the cars.
Okay, so what's the
probably-
YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Supercars and Superfoods.
Supercars and Superfoods. Like and subscribe. You got to get those subscribers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like and subscribe. Supercars and Superfoods. That's awesome.
The
Thanks.
first videos we posted is her doing a walk around of the car here in the showroom. We did that last Sunday
Yeah, that was the launch.
and posted it up. So I think you
Oh,
might
very
be
good.
400 likes by now on that. Boy, we're killing it.
Nice. Good for you in the first video. Thanks so much for giving us the exclusive and a walk around on this thing.
Yeah, it was awesome to have
very
an
cool, yeah.
exclusive. Yes.
Guys, thank you so much. We
It's
had
so
good
cool. It's just
laugh.
cool to hang out with you guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, Jeff. And Mike, hopefully we'll get to see you again soon once all this stuff calms down.
We're going to see him tomorrow, too. I'm going to FaceTime him or figure it out.
But I mean, like, hugging.
Oh, sure.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully at SEMA. Hopefully at SEMA. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I plan on making it. I gotta get my real ID still, but we'll see. Because in Minnesota
what
they
you do
wait until the
tomorrow.
last second. Yeah, right. You need a mask. Hopefully you'll
I got
hopefully you'll
yelled at the
recognize
other
them.
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing it tomorrow. Well, I'll wear it when I have to go outside, but otherwise I'll have my Chevy Performance set on.
Oh,
I'm not wearing
Yeah.
a mask. The same.
Yeah, me either.
Oh, you're not? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Why would you?
Oh, exactly. I walked into Walmart the other day and I forgot my bandana here. So I got out a microfiber towel from Mother's. And I'm holding it up on my face, and the Walmart guy, you can't be in here like that. It's like, the hell I can't. It's not a law. I can hold it up to my face. Pardon me, sir. Oh,
Right.
sorry. Yeah. Like, nice. Yeah.
White paper towel and wipe your counter and see how dirty that is. Like, right?
yeah,
Wow.
right.
Well, stay healthy
right.
and stay safe. And I look forward to meeting
Yeah.
you guys face to face tomorrow. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Thank you guys
Yeah,
so much.
if there were a cruise and if we were to see you, we'd love to see you tomorrow.
Top secret.
But
All right.
we love you
Thank you.
guys so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you
you.
guys.
All right. Take care.